So there's the countdown from 10.
Nice. Alright guys, the first map is Dusk Towers for Bales versus Beastie Cutie. This is the Gauntlet Legacy of the Void Series Global Finals. Heading into game number 1 of this best of 3, the final game in the round of 16.
A PVT. Again, I love this matchup in Legacy of the Void. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, a lot of variation available in there. Disruptor play, again, not very common, but Storms are back. Storms are the thing for Protoss to use in this particular matchup. And for Terran, it's Liberator play as well. Can definitely spice things up, do a lot of zoning out, and basically cause Protoss to deal with it by moving around or sniping down the Liberators. Anything that requires more micro is okay in my book.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Legacy of the Void introduced a whole host of elements that the sole purpose was to increase the not just increase micro, but increase micro potential, which pays off for higher level players, but isn't overly daunting for lower level players. So it pays off if you're good at it, and that's, I think, exactly what they planned on doing, and that's what we're seeing, especially with disruptors. You know, on the surface, it's like, oh, it does so much devastating damage, but at the same time, it takes a lot of control and planning to use them effectively. To the north, we have the Yellow Terran player. It is the former Gauntlet Legacy of the Void Open champion. It is Beastie Cutie.
And in the bottom of Dusk Towers, directly across from his opponent, we have the red Protoss player representing Flipside Tactics. It is Bales. Ooh, and look, he has one of those little trophies you get from online tournaments in Legacy of the Void. Look how shiny.
Oh, I was just going to say that. It's so shiny. Jeez. Yeah, it's from the...
Jeez.
Yeah, jeez.
You sound so disappointed. You're like, oh, it's shiny.
I know, I want that one. Jeez. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, if only I could be that good. Those are one from, the online automated tournaments in Battle.net. So if you're in StarCraft, and plus it counts as ladder points too. So you're stealing nerds' ladder points and you're getting trophies. That's pretty awesome.
Who can argue with that? Not me, that's for sure. All right, so based on the timing here with the gas and the barracks, looks like it is a standard Reaper expand opening from Beastie QT. Bales, meanwhile, going for what looks like, there it is, there's the gateway expand as well. So very similar stuff, even though they are different races, getting at that initial production structure into an expansion base. Very, very good, safe build against early aggression, but also gets you ready for the macro style as well.
Yep, well put. Both players are looking to get that early economic advantage, although no advantage will be had, as they both opt for a very similar economic opening. But in this case, as far as aggression, what we see, the sky's the limit in Legacy of the Void for both races. I think Protoss tend to favor like a little bit more predictable route. Like, we expect Adepts. It kind of goes without saying. We expect them to be the opener. It's not usually a Blink Stalker opening, although it has been, and we saw, I believe, Mana do it already today, as Blink Stalker opening rather than the Adept opening, although he did that as well, I think. So, but that being said, it is an Adept moving across, or being built and moving across the map. Whether that will be Bale's ultimate build towards the mid game has yet to be revealed, but getting an Adept is a pretty good sign that he means to apply some pressure. It's also good for scouting too, moving across that map fairly quickly using the Shade ability, which sends forward the psionic transfer, and sending forth the Shade and transferring itself over to that place where it is, as we see right now happening across the map. Moves super fast and also can move through units and force fields, but not through buildings. That's a great way to scout to see what's up without posing too much risk to your Adept.
Yeah, the Shade is invulnerable, so you can send it right up to your enemy units. They can't do anything to it. It's pretty much impossible to stop if you're Terran, unless you throw up buildings at the ramp, which is exactly what Beastie QT has done. And here comes the scouting, a psionic transfer. Oh, lifting up the supply depot just at the right time. Does see a bunker and a couple supply depots. Not much of a tell there. And the Adept goes home a little bit disappointed. But robotics facility just about to finish up there for Bales. Beastie QT getting a Widow Mine and a Starport immediately. And there's a robotics bay coming up very early from Bales. 3 minutes and 30 seconds for a bay. Maybe going for that disruptor play that I said he wasn't going to do.
It's interesting. That is super, super early. Unless, again, we've seen early robotics facilities go down. Robotics bay goes down. Yeah, is this going to be for Warp Prism speed? I agree with this. This is very similar to, I guess, the deviation versus Terran, like Myungshik does. He does this, gets the early Warp Prism speed, throws in a disruptor, applies some pressure, forces the Terran to play defensive or take heavy losses with that disruptor. And yeah, we'll see if this is exactly what he does. I don't foresee a whole lot of other options for Bales to do, but who knows? This guy, we haven't seen him play Legacy of the Void. We don't know what styles he prefers to do. There's a Liberator on the way and a Cyclone coming out for BCQT. So he's going to be in a pretty good position defensively to take care of any Warp Prism harass.
Oh yeah, that single Cyclone is very important. Can burn out a Warp Prism very quickly, assuming the positioning is good, which is exactly what Terrans need to have that Cyclone for. Liberator on the way again, and it's just one at a time. He's not double pumping those. We'll see if those actually become a mainstay in his army a little bit later on. But yes, that Gravitic Drive is on the way for Bales, making that Warp Prism so speedy, hard to track down, hard to chase as it zips back and forth between your bases. Can be very frustrating indeed. We'll see how BCQT handles it.
We got the Liberator moving towards the back of the main base of Bales right now, looking to put in some damage. There's some Stalkers, though, in position, shooing off the Liberator before it could do any sort of damage. Very well played by Bales. Nice awareness of what could possibly happening at that time. Speaking of which, that Cyclone is in position, though, too, to defend against this Warp Prism, should it come across. And in fact, it's spotted by this second Liberator. Very unfortunate for Bales.
Very unfortunate. Forced to pretty much go forward with it. Lock on ability, getting a few shots off. The Liberator should be able to finish off it as well. The Disruptor manages to live by unloading from the Warp Prism, but it's trapped. It's trapped. Now it has to dodge Defender mode circles, trying to
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Nova to get through the rocks. That's fantastic. That's so funny.
It's actually safe there. That is unbelievable. We found a little safe place. Oh, wow.
Oh, man. But the micro required here by both these players seems a little bit ridiculous. BCQT really wants to kill it. Bales does not want to lose it. I'm not sure why. I don't think he has any use for this at all. Oh, Defender mode circle. No, yes, does get one shot off. And another Purification Nova.
And he missed it, too. It's like, that's unfortunate. He missed the rock. He missed the rocks. Oh, that's unfortunate. But whatever. Right. A lot of micro, a lot of control.
Liberators lose interest. The Disruptor is stuck. Might be picked up by another Warp Prism later on, but for now is stuck on the island of Misfit Toys. Absolutely, for sure. The Liberators finally cruising down the left side of the map there.
And there's more important work they could be doing.
Going to be good. Yeah. Stalker positioning is going to be good, though, I think. And be ready for that. Blink on the way as well. Very useful against this kind of harassment from BCQT. Only 3 Stalkers here, though, and the Liberators throwing a couple Defender mode circles might be enough to get a few workers anyway. I don't think...
good reaction.
Good reaction time, though. Doesn't get a single kill there. The 2 circles are available. Mothership Core doesn't have a pylon to Photon Overcharge to drive those away, unfortunately for her. And more Stalkers getting warped on in, positioning pretty good, actually. No real place that Bales can go to get those Liberators. They change into anti-air mode, get a couple shots off on that Mothership Core, and then throw up a pylon in the meantime. Good move there, actually, by Bales, getting a pylon in there just in time.
Yeah, it was he kind of baited the Disruptors to unsiege with the Mothership Core, which allowed him to get that push forward, drop the pylon, and retreat before losing anything. But now we have the move out here by BCQT. Has a lot of Marines, some Marauders there to support as he sieges up his Liberators in the back of the natural base here of Bales. But the push is happening at the front. Actually, he's kind of paused in the middle of the map here. A little lapse of attention on BCQT, but Bales is in a pretty dangerous position here with that lone Disruptor still stuck in the middle of the map. He does have a healthy number of Disruptors back at home, though. There's about 3, enough to at least push back BCQT's army for quite some time.
Definitely, for sure. And here comes that push. You were talking about it earlier. Marines, Marauders, and some Medivacs in the composition. Continuing to upgrade, getting the stim, getting +1 armor for those infantry units as well. Disruptor play continuing to be produced from Bales here, trying to make it happen. We'll see how BCQT's splitting is based on how heavy this Disruptor composition is looking. And the Adept looks a little different because it looks like Bales has the Collector's Edition of Legacy of the Void that does come with a Purifier skin on those Adepts, make them look very nice. Ugh, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, both players just kind of dancing. They glow, exactly. They look like they're on fire, which is awesome.
Okay, we have the nice triple drop going down towards the south side of the map here for Beastie Cutie, hoping to take Bales off guard as Bales' army is way out of position right now. He's going to try to engage the army of Beastie Cutie in the middle of the map. Nice hit there, but he is this is incredible. He does not see this happening right now. This is a lot of units in those medevacs. This is just a distraction in the middle map for Beastie Cutie, because this is where the real damage is. Right now, as the drop occurs, he's going to take out this Photon Overcharge goes down on double of the three pylons right now at the mothership, trying to get its money's worth before it goes down. But these Marines and Marauders kill those pylons with super efficiency. But now the push is at the natural base of Beastie Cutie, so both players just going for it here. Who cares about defense as they send off their respective armies to do deadly damage.
Yeah, this could definitely turn into a base race. There are a few Marines here. The Adepts might be able to clean those up, but this third base is definitely going to fall for BCQT. Doesn't even bother lifting it off. This command center trying to run away for its life might be able to get into the burning stages, and it might burn and fall to the ground there, but Disruptors moved across the map as well. We still have the harassment down there at the natural base going after production structures. The Adepts are not actually, there we go. Now they're moving, trying to get rid of these Marines as well. It's a good answer, but the medevac is providing them some support, lifting them up, moving them around as well. A few stalkers pop out and kill one of the medevacs, but two of them do manage to escape.
We had 11 drones go down on Bale's side of his economy here, which is not exactly good to have for the protest player, but he's still 66 drones, well now 64, so he's about even on the worker count. That lone disruptor still doing absolutely nothing for itself. This a waste of supply it is, and resources. But that was a really good attack by Bales. I think he took the better, and he ended up killing a command center. Actually, did he even get the third one? I did not, I might have missed that, but at least he got heavy damage on it, and forced the retreat of BCQT. BCQT wasn't mining from that base for a long time. A lot of buildings went down, structures and units. I think the composition right now for Bales is far superior, as he's still pumping out disruptors. Again, not something you see all the time in a PvT, but as you can see, it's super effective as more disruptor hits go down. Oh wow, evaporating the army in the middle here. But again, a quadruple drop going down in the main base of Bales.
Two cannons, immediately a photon overcharge coming up as well. The pylon is focused down by these Marines and these Marauders. A few disruptors in here getting focused as well. Recognizing the threat is BCQT, killing warping in Adepts, not even allowed to get a single shot off before they die. Disruptor again comes on and does get absolutely exploded. Adepts trying to stand on in here. Once again, there's just nothing here to handle these Marines and these Marauders, especially with medevac protection here. And Bale's just pushing on up once again. He wants to move up the ramp, try to kill stuff. A small group of Marauders and Marines out on this fourth base as well. And Bale's, the response is trying to warp in units. It does have DTs coming in as well, but a big attack at the same time going after Liberators. Disruptors on the front lines, and this base in severe threat of falling as well. Purification of it going up the ramp, getting some shots off on the supply depots, killing a couple units as well. Beast and QT calls the GG. And Bales takes game number 1.
Wow, that was a calculated risk by Bales to just, forget about defending at all and just commit to that attack. And it paid off in the end. He did terrible damage on the side of BCQT in his base. Just too much economic damage and army damage too. His army supply was plummeting pretty quickly. A lot of his army supply was actually on Bale's side of the map and was only killing some structures, wasn't getting enough done. And yeah, he had nothing to contend with that army that Bales had. And GG was called, so well played by Bales, taking a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series, guys. This is the Gauntlet StarCraft Legacy of the Void series global finals. This is the final series in the round of 16, heading into the round of 8 right after this. So pretty exciting to see, guys. Bales, a relative, short notice, guys. He came in like an hour before this event started. We invited him because it was True. Yeah, it was True who. No, True's still in this tournament. It was Solar, sorry. Solar that dropped out at a short notice, unforeseen circumstances, and Bale stepped up. And Neeb as well. Neeb was short notice too. Neeb replaced Firecake on relatively short notice, and look at him. He made it through too, through a super powerful opponent in True. So excellent to see these young North American Protosses stepping it up. North American scene has excellent Protosses. We can't complain about that. Some top-notch talent here for sure. And nice to see it on display right here. Guys, we'll be heading into game number 2 very shortly of this best of 3 with Bales up 1-0 versus BCQT.
Yeah, pretty fantastic. Absolutely. And just the drops did a bunch of damage for BCQT. It felt like he had Marines and Marauders inside the base of Bales for several minutes of that game, but just couldn't do quite enough economic damage, couldn't do quite enough damage to slow down the army pushes of Bales. The disruptor hits were good. They were better than I expected. And in the end, Bales was able to force the GG out of BCQT. Hey, that was cute.
Oh, wow. You're such a wordsmith.
Yep, poet. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm no wordsmith. I specifically didn't say poet. Who's the wordsmith now? But anyway, yeah. So excellent play by Bales. As you said, there were some really good disruptor hits. I wouldn't say anything like critical, but it was enough. And a lot of them took out Marauders too. So he didn't split his army correctly enough, didn't react to the disruptor play, and yeah, definitely set every engagement. Just put Bales that much more ahead. Bales committed at the right time. Yeah, and it absolutely tore Beastie Cutie apart. Guys, we're in the lobby now for game number 2 of Bales versus Beastie Cutie. Orbital Shipyard is the map. Nice to see. Also, guys, $1,000 on the line. This is a $1,000 prize pool event. First place gets $650. Second, $200. Third and fourth gets 75 bones each. So there is a lot. Yeah, man, not bad at all. A lot of money on the line here for these players. It means a lot to them. It's great for the scene. So yeah, please follow the sponsor, C-Tone and the Gauntlet crew at Gauntlet SC2 on Twitter. Show them some love. Also hit up that follow button right here on Twitch TV. So whenever this channel goes live, you get a notification and never miss a thing. We're heading to the game right now as it is loading up. Sweet. Loading into the game right now. I'm Bobby Awesome. With me is Falcon Paladin. A joy to be here with you guys. Thanks for joining us. So far, tons of StarCraft yet to happen. Here we are. Game number 2 on Orbital Shipyard. To the north, we have the Pink Terran player, former Gauntlet Legacy Void of the Open champ, Beastie Cutie.
And in the bottom left of Orbital Shipyard, we have the red Protoss player, a last-minute addition to our tournament representing Flipside Tactics. It is Bales. Listen to that music. So nice. The Legacy of the Void soundtrack is awesome.
Oh, man. The best. No, the hands down. Probably the best soundtrack I've ever heard. Yeah, I think in total. It's right up there with the Star Trek Into Darkness and the first Star Trek film soundtrack. As far as soundtracks go, I love those soundtracks. I listen to every single soundtrack in existence, pretty much. And I think it's probably tied for my favorite. Right up there, Legacy of the Void. What a step up. And especially for video game soundtracks. It's just beautiful to listen to. You can't stop listening to it. Well done, Blizzard.
It gets you hyped on the way to work. Like you go to your desk job and the music's playing in your car and you're just like, yeah, let's do this thing.
Yeah,
where are my psi blades?
Just need those inflatable psi blades that they had at BlizzCon. That'd be awesome.
Those are dangerous, man. Take an eye out.
Yeah.
Anyway, stuff's actually happening here. Is this a 2 barracks opening? 2 barracks opening here from Beastie QT in addition to a command center. Maybe he wants a little bit more defense in the early game, although I'm not sure exactly why. Bales wasn't entirely aggressive in the early game of game number 1. But again, when you're on your back foot, perhaps you play a little bit more defensively. BCQT may be feeling a little bit uncertain. I feel like these are going to be Marines that are coming out, especially considering there's no gas in production right now for BCQT. So SCV Scout, what does he see? Warp Gate being researched. Gateways coming up at the same time. Cybernetics Core, popping right on in. And a Nexus. Very, very standard stuff indeed.
Yeah, we got an Adept on the way for Bales. Very similar to the game number 1. A little different opening, as you mentioned, for Beastie Cutie. Interesting to see what he does with this. And Marines do pop out, as you predicted. We do have an Adept, as I mentioned, on the way. They fare fairly well versus Marines, I heard. So we'll see if Bales can get any annoying damage done with this outcoming Adept.
Adepts, again, do 23 damage versus light units, which Marines and SCVs are, making them very good. In the early game against Terran Reapers, also a light unit. So Adepts getting in there, 2-shot in all your stuff. There are nightmares that Terran players have about this little unit called the Adept. I tried to say like 4 things at once. That never works out.
No, it doesn't. It's not how the human mouth works. But good try, though.
Thank you. I'll try again later.
Oh, that's the spirit. Yes, we got double gas going down here for Beastie Cutie in his main portion of his base. More Marines being pumped out. No reactors, of course, as he has no gas. Or right now, not yet anyway. He's getting that third CC out, though. So he's playing the economic game is Beastie Cutie. He means to get more SCVs, get more mules with that third command center as well, and take that third fairly quickly. But we got Twilight Council going down for Bales. Interesting to see. He has an observer on the way too, though. So anything that Beastie Cutie is currently doing will soon be scouted.
Yeah, luckily for Blink, I haven't seen any toss go for Stalkers without getting Blink, honestly, in Legacy of the Void in a really long time. So probably going to see that Chrono Boost out fairly soon. And it looks basically like a Biotel coming out from Beastie QT here, getting Marines, getting an Engineering Bay as well, and Tech Labs on his barracks. Orbital commands, just very standard stuff at the same time from the Terran player. And a missile turret coming up as well. Perhaps worried about Oracles? Where is he putting those? Let's take a look.
We got the third command center going down for Bales, so he's also looking to play economically with his observer well across the map. We're going to see what Beastie Cutie's up to right away, as Blink, as you predicted, is on its way as well. So we're going to see some Blink Stalker play, possibly Blink Stalker Disruptor. That'd be nice to see. That's usually something we see in PvP, sometimes PvZ. I'd love to see it in PvT here today. More barracks going down. That third command center is done. It's now an orbital, just being used right now to saturate the natural of Beastie Cutie. Supplies are even. Worker count is negligible, as both players are just macroing it up, not to poking too hard. Some soft scouting on from either side as they determine their own tech paths. As you said, definitely a bio build here by Beastie Cutie, which is something he favors. Haven't seen him play mech in Legacy of the Void. It's not his thing. I don't think it's mech is something you use to supplement. I don't think it's an actual individual build so much so in high level StarCraft 2, not at the moment anyway. I don't think it's something that's been truly figured out yet, as the Cyclone is something we hardly see, as we previously mentioned.
I am interested in seeing a Terran player actually figure that out, though.
That'd be awesome.
Mech should be a thing in Legacy of the Void. It should be a viable build. But again, Cyclones were really good in the beta for a while there. Mass Cyclone was fairly popular on the ladder, especially against Protoss. And then the damage got nerfed on the lockdown ability, and they kind of went the way of the Dodo. Again, you see them in the early game, 1 or 2, but you never see anything more than that. You never see groups of 10 or 12 or 15 Cyclones just tearing into units anymore. And the Terrans, I think, are pretty sad about that.
All right, we got a little group of units, gateway units moving out for Bales to Beastie Cutie's side of the map. A Warp Prism there to supplement it, as Bales is looking to apply some aggression to the third base of Beastie Cutie, forcing him to, some bunkers are going down for Beastie Cutie, as he's well aware something is up.
Yep, bunkers coming down, 2 of them as well. Heading on the top here, Marines and Marauders. The Stalkers moving on in as well. Stalker Adept gets burned down. First of all, gets focused down, interestingly enough. And now Stalker versus Marine Marauder. Usually Marine Marauder has an advantage there. And yes, retreating back there at the same time. 2 Liberators on the way. That might switch things up here. Will we get there in time is the question. As this continued push on in with these Stalkers, just focusing down units. The 3 bunkers might be enough to shove them away, though. And the Warp Prism up to some work at the same time.
With Blink up to the high ground. Oh, just he gets that in range. Oh, he managed to pick off that turret so he can move in his Warp Prism so he can warp in some units. The Liberators are out creating their no-go zones, but the blink away is good. There's not a lot of Marauders here, actually. A lot of Marines, some workers are being pulled. Blinks are good. The Adepts are tanking some damage as his attack has commenced. He blinks actually down to retreat just to buy a little bit more time here as he's just trying to pull Beastie Cutie left and right as he's droning up all behind this too. This is not a committed attack, not meant to end the game. As he getting his Robotics Bay up as well behind this to get probably Disruptors, I would imagine.
Yep, Immortals on the way, more Adepts coming up. Resonating Glaives upgrade that does increase the attack speed by Adepts by a full 45%, just making them so good with the DPS. More Adepts dropping in here to the natural base, just taking down that SCP count even further. 71 to 52 Harvesters in favor of Bales, our Protoss player. And again, more Adept action on more and more SCVs. Finally, the Adepts get cleaned on up. Another attack with Blink Stalkers as well. Full concave here forcing a retreat once again from the Stalkers. But right now, it is Bale's game to lose.
Yeah, Bales exactly did exactly as planned, pulling BC Cutie left to right, keeping him on his side of the map, and in the meantime, getting some worker kills with a nice, healthy worker lead at 74 SCVs, probes, to 52 SCVs of BC Cutie. His upgrades are starting. He's going to start double pumping upgrades. Yep, there he goes. Has a Depth Stalker. Warp Prism still a threat behind the base of BC Cutie. And he is getting charge as well. This is going to be a powerful composition coming out of Bales heading into the mid game.
Indeed, in the production tab, we see Disruptors on the way from Bales, Zealot Legs coming up +1/+1 for his ground units, and an Armory at the same time for Beastie QT just for those +3/+3 upgrades if he does manage to get there. And again, having mules does give you about a 10 worker advantage compared to your opponent if you're even that way. So again, BCQT, it shows 74 to 54, but really it's closer to 74 to 64, not down nearly as much as that would indicate the mules increasing that income by quite a bit. So here comes a small push out by BCQT. Marines, Marauders, Medevacs pushing on in. The Marines and the Marauders have +1/+1. Getting scouted out by the Observer and Disruptors at the top of the ramp trying to deal with this.
Yeah, the Disruptors here are an excellent zoning tool, and if BCQT is not paying attention to his army, can lose in devastating fashion. Nice, takes out the mine there with that Disruptor shot. The Warp Prism that is still at the base of BCQT, so should Bales choose to do so, it can commit some gateway units there to cause some counter damage. But right now, BCQT is being pushed away, deciding to commit here, oddly enough, actually getting a pretty decent engagement as he stims and kites his way to a nice little victory here. Some medevacs do get picked off by these Blink Stalkers. That is a lot of Marauders here, but there are an equal number, seemingly, of Adepts to tank damage from the Marauders, as neither kill each other very fast.
No, they really don't. Liberators in production. A Fusion Core. Fusion Core on the way for Beastie QT. Are we going to see battle cruisers here?
No way.
Oh, I think we are getting the air weapons upgrade as well. Is Beastie QT? He's going for it, man. Fusion Core just about to finish here. Are we going to see the dance? We might see the dance. Oh, no, not yet.
Maybe not.
Not yet. All right, that's fine. We'll come back.
Yeah, totally okay. But also, in regards to this, we see a lot of Liberators on the field, and we have the Templar Archives just now finishing right away for Bales, and getting Archons is key to dealing with Liberators, as they could tank as a frontline unit the Liberator shots without dying. They could at least take a couple of those while your Stalkers move in to pick apart the Liberators. They're absolutely necessary as a Protoss for taking care of Liberators, and that's exactly what we see Bales looking to position himself to do, as he has a healthy supply lead right now, almost maxed out to the 170 BCQT. BCQT looking to get some damage done with that Liberator behind the mineral line of Bales. Doesn't look like he's going to get too much done, but some action happening here in the middle of the map. Just Bales' army chasing away BCQT, forcing BCQT to retreat to the safety confines of his side of the map.
The Adept was trying to deny that fourth base from landing. Warp Prism trying to move on as well, make itself useful. More Liberators in production for BCQT. 3 on the way. He does have 4 on the field. And finally, the Marauders do clean up that Adept, and looks like we are going for it here with Bales. A Defender Mode Circle's coming up. Disruptor Nova whiffs there, and just kind of...
Oh, that's a good hit right there.
QT, that was a very solid hit there. But more Adept harass here at the fourth base. The Warp Prism must have brought those guys on over. 3 SCVs die, 79 to 57 total. Right now, Defender Mode Circles are making Bales feel a little bit timid, I'd have to say. Doesn't want to walk in there entirely at this point. And so he's going to back off for now.
Yeah, again, I don't think Bales is meaning to land a killing blow with this attack. In the meantime, it was a distraction for the main army of BCQT, while he did a nice little Adept drop at the fourth base, doing some more heavy economic damage to BCQT, who is increasingly unable to afford such economic attacks. And now Bales is pushing forward, Defender mode engaged. Oh, that is some death trap indeed. Blink forward, though. Oh, this is a crazy attack, but there's a lot of stim bio and an excellent concave by BCQT. Not a very nice position for our Protoss player. Ow, that base goes down, though. The fourth base, a little sloppy there by BCQT. This is insane.
The Nova gets canceled because the Disruptor was killed by BCQT's army. Another Purification Nova comes right on in and kills a huge group of Marines and Marauders. Another Nova comes on in and makes another hit as well. And just BCQT losing most of his stuff. GG. Bales wins the series 2-0. Moving on to the next round.
That was just everywhere. What? That was insane. I think the multitasking of Bales. Let's talk about that for a second. Holy cow, Bales! That was beautiful multitasking. He pulled BCQD apart right from the heading into the mid game there and straight on through to the GG. Multitasked BCQD right out of his keyboard, just pulling him apart with the adept drops, and then even killed that fourth. That was super sloppy. One could say it's sloppy, but also you could say it's because Bales forced BCQD in that position. He could not pay attention to that fourth base, lost all his workers, then ended up the base dying to a handful of adepts while engagements were happening in the center of the map. Because you have to pay attention, not paying attention to your army, and there's there's disruptors on the field. That's heavy damage, as we saw there. Some excellent hits too by Bales with those disruptors. GG 2-0. BCQD falls to Bales. And Bales moves on to the round of 8. So, GG to him.
Definitely well played by Bales. Again, very short notice here, being made aware that he needed to replace a player in the tournament today and making a good showing for Flipside Tactics and North America in general. Hope to see more from Bales. That was some pretty solid play from the Protoss player.
Well, yeah, I mean, I find North American Protests are so exciting, and especially these ones that a lot of people, sometimes write off or whatever, ladder heroes, whatever, and so on and so forth. But to see them shine in some of these events like this against players, we maybe wouldn't necessarily, we'd write them off against. Like, for example, the Neeb versus True series, as we see here on the brackets that just come up now. Neeb 2-1 True. Like, that's incredible. Good for him. This has not been updated yet, this whole this graph quite yet, as Polt did move on via a walkover over Myungshik and will face Mana. And I believe that is our next match, too. So we will be starting the round of 8. Still best of 3s in the round of 8. But it'll be Polt versus Mana. It will be the next series coming up in the very near future, guys. This is the Gauntlet Legacy of the Void Series Global Finals. Brought to you by ESL, Nexus Recall, and Falcon Paladin. Then it's sponsored by Cetone and the Gauntlet crew. Follow them at Gauntlet SC2 on Twitter. Show them some love, and also catch the latest updates and goings-ons of the Gauntlet series. Also hit up that follow button right here on Twitch TV. Get that notification whenever this stream goes online with some sick StarCraft. I'm Bobby Awesome. With me is Falcon Paladin. Joy to be here. Joy to be here with you, Falcon Paladin. We have tons of StarCraft to go. Tons.
We sure do. Just getting started here. We are doing some vetoes on our next match. We'll get into that shortly. But again, I hope you enjoyed that PVT. Really fun matchup. And again, Disruptor pretty darn good in some situations. Again, not really the staple, but depending on the matchup, it can have some level of effectiveness for sure.
Yeah, Disruptor, literally good race. We're going to be going to a 5-minute break right now. Be back.